you guys, today we are going to be talking about what is going on within Israel and in Palestine, you guys. It has been quite the topic lately, and as Muslims, of course, we had to come out here and talk about it as well. So, it's Mary.
And Emma.
We invite you guys to like,
subscribe,
and comment down below.
Yeah, so it is really, really sad. It's been really hard to, just thinking about covering this topic has been very, very hard for us, and it's just been very, very hard. It kind of brings up, bad memories and stuff. It brings up a lot of things that happened to the Muslim community during 9/11, and stuff that I personally went through. Then I had two young, babies. I think 9/11, how old were you then? 2001. Yeah, I don't think you were like 3 years old. Your brother was like a year and a half.
Yeah.
So, having people spitting at us and throwing trash on us and, so it kind of really hit really close to home. Anytime something happens where, something like this occurs, I do want to say that, for me personally, just anywhere where you have people being attacked, people being killed, innocent people being killed, it just hits really close to home. It just does, because it's like you're minding your own business. The people who were in the hospital in Gaza, that were, just taking shelter there, and then that hospital was bombed. You feel like you're gonna be safe here, doctors just doing their jobs. A doctor having to identify his son, because his wife and their 3 children came to the hospital, for shelter, and the son was, his son was dead, and he is there helping civilians, but he has to also identify his dead son.
Yeah. Heartbreaking.
People just trying to live their lives, the girl who was crying and saying, I'm just 11 years old, how about my life, what did I do, the little boy who was sitting there, the sister looks to be, I don't know, like 2 years old. I remember her name was Susu. That's a easy name to remember. I can't remember his name. He must have been like no more than 5. And they had both just lost their parents, and it's just them. And he was saying that, yes, I am strong, and she's pointing to the blood on his sister's toes and saying, she's strong too. See the blood on the toes, and look at my little scratch mark here. As though these are like wounds of war. And for that little boy to be thinking, he should be, I don't know, playing in the park, playing with toys, playing Legos or something, learning, I don't know, addition and subtraction, just having a good time. I mean, these are the important times of their lives where they begin to learn just how to be social, how to play with other kids, how to keep cleanliness and stuff. They're probably learning their little Islamic prayers. And then you think about the first thing that went through my mind when I heard that a bomb had hit this I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was called Rave, the festival that was going on in Israel, and when I heard that I think it's like 700 of these young people who just went to a festival were killed, and it was just like, right away I just felt like, oh man, we talk about this conflict that goes on between Israel and Palestine and the unfairness of it, because of course Israel is so much more like powerful in terms of their military and all
And
that.
they're backed.
You know what I'm saying? Of course they're backed by the West, and they're like fueled, funneled with so much money and all of that, and war artillery. But what I thought about was, oh man, those young kids. I mean, I call them kids. They're considered probably adult in their, I don't know, high teenage years, early 20s, right? I just thought, man, those were probably the ones, if anything was going to change, if they were going to make any changes that will help Palestine one day, it will be these kids. They will be the ones to do it, because they have been the ones who have been protesting against Israel, against their government, against, Netanyahu. Like, they have been the ones protesting, and I just felt like, man, you guys just killed, your potential ally, in this fight. And not just because they're a potential ally, but also just, I was thinking of that mom. I saw her yesterday, and 2 of her kids have been taken hostage. And my heart just broke for her, like both kids, a boy and a girl.
Yeah.
Like my heart just breaks for, these are just innocent people. They don't deserve this. They just don't.
I just don't know why civilians have to be involved in this war. Like, obviously they have their issues with the country, but I don't feel like civilians should be brought into where you're killing women, you're killing children, you're killing teenagers, and all of it's very uncivilized.
Yeah, and I just wondered, Netanyahu now, he's there like, oh, okay, we're gonna I don't know, carpet bomb them or whatever. But I just wondered to myself if he really, deep down, did he even care about those young Jewish kids that died? Because they're the ones who are protesting against him, against that government. I mean, you see them even now. And so in the midst of all of this sadness, and I want to also talk about, before I get into something else that's very important, the young 6-year-old, Wadia, the Illinois boy. They lived in this, I guess, rental property that was owned by this landlord. I'm not gonna bother to say his name.
This is a very savage attack.
He looked at the boy, his mom was saying, he looked at that man as like a grandfather. Yeah. So when he was a landlord, but they were like talking, laughing, and
probably had some secret hatred
and
for him
during, well, the man's family was saying, the man's wife was saying that in these latter days, he's been watching the news and seeing people who are so irresponsible, like DeSantis, that idiot, the one who is taking out African American studies in Florida.
Yeah.
That idiot.
Yeah.
And he was there talking about how not to bring anybody from Gaza to America, no refugees, because they are all anti-Semitic. Do you know that half of people in Gaza are children? So what the hell are you talking about? Their thought process on this whole thing has not even started to form. But the guy's wife was saying that in these latter days he's been listening to these irresponsible people who should not have these positions of power at all, and it would be great if Florida can, get rid of him as governor next time. But, vote for somebody else. You have to, if you're in these kinds of positions with huge positions come huge responsibility. you've got to know what you're saying, that there are people watching, there are people listening, and I am not going to give this man a way out. But this is what his wife said. And so he goes there thinking, yeah, all Muslims need to die. I got a person up there who's Muslim, I need to go there. Forgets that, this boy hugs you like he looks at you as a grandfather. So she opens the door. She's not, she opens the door with trust because this is the landlord, and he stabs her in the face. And she runs, and the boy runs towards him to hug him. And he stands over him and stabs him 26 times. These are the stories. Go ahead.
I just feel like my thing is I feel like maybe that man probably had some type of prejudice against
Already
them all
there.
along. Because there's no way in hell that you have a relationship with somebody and it's a good relationship and you don't think badly of them, and then you all of a sudden, I'm watching the news, let me go stab this little boy 26 times. Like, that don't happen. Like, unless you are a psychopath.
I look at, anytime I see, there was a time in my life when I'll see like people, when I hear about people who are murderers and have committed all this heinous crime.
Yeah, but you don't go stab somebody because they're of that group or whatever.
I always think that person at one time was a baby, was a little baby.
Yeah.
How did they get from that to that? You know what I'm saying? How he got there? Like, it just blows the mind. It just blows the mind. But this is very sad. But what gives me comfort this morning, because I tell you all, I have been crying for like really all morning. I have been crying. I've just been watching these stories that have been heartbreaking. And then I saw a story on YouTube. I think the podcast is called Breaking the Silence. And it was, and this is like it's a channel that talks about the veterans, the ones who have been part of the Israel's army, and they're now veterans, and some of them, I guess, have left, have been discharged, whatever. I don't know how their system works, but they're coming to tell the stories of the things that they did that were wrong as they occupied Gaza, as they occupied the West Bank. And so that it really warmed my heart, because these are the people we have to stand together as human beings, and as humanity. I want to finish on this. As humanity, we're strong. I remember 9/11. The people who went with the Muslim girl at that university, and all these women wore the hijab, so that she will not be singled out and will be bullied. The Muslima who was rescued by the two, guys who she was getting ready to be raped, and they came and they protected her. For every bad story, there are also stories of people uniting. And what I want to say, just like how apartheid was broken down in Southern Africa by boycotting those companies that funneled those people who were oppressing the Africans, the South Africans, by boycott, by sanctioning of the countries. That was the only way that apartheid was overturned. And that will be the way that we're going to have to go with Israel as well, the government of Israel as well. And the wonderful thing is that the Arab countries, the wonderful thing is that there are people who are joining with us in the fight, like the ones who are doing the Breaking the Silence, the Jews who are going, they're walking together, protesting with Muslims, because with our humanity, we are unbreakable. We are unbreakable, and it's going to take all of us united together in order to bring about peace in this region, but in order to have a state, in order for Palestine to have its own country again. where you can have a two-state in this region. So this is the only way that you can stop Netanyahu and what he is doing. So I just wanted to say that. We just wanted to come out here and say that, but our hearts go out to all the innocent
Civilians
Palestinians
that have been brought into this war.
all the innocent Jews that have been, killed, harmed. And I want to say, just as a Muslim, I want to say directly to Hamas, please let those hostages go. It's not our way. It's not our way to do that, to get hostages and all of that. Just let them go. Let them go. And that's that's my appeal to you. That's it. But thanks for
but we are
joining
praying
us,
for
and
peace
we
for
are,
both sides.
yes, if we collectively lift our voices up in prayer as well. I think those are the things that bring, and us united, all that is what brings about a change.
But it's Mary.
And Alma.
Signing off, and we are asking you guys to be kind to your neighbor today.
Yeah.
Send down a gentle wing and just talk to everybody with kindness during this whole thing. It's a very high pressure situation. It's a very controversial topic. But what we need to remember is that innocent civilians are being murdered every day.
The Palestinians don't have water.
They don't have water. Food, they don't have fuel. They don't have what they need.
None
in
of that is
hospitals.
being allowed to come in. And Biden, as you make your rounds going into this region and talking
then giving billions to Israel, and then you want to slide 100 million to Palestinians. Please,
appeal to Netanyahu. I mean, at one point, I guess he used to be human.
Who?
Appeal Netanyahu. I mean, as one.
Oh, I like talking about Biden.
No, I mean appeal to that government, since you're going there, for them to allow people to have access to basic, human aid that they need: food, water, fuel, shelter.
Yeah, praying for peace, really, more than anything. Just praying for peace. Bye.